Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name's Natalie. I am a dental hygienist, and today we're going to talk about my temping job and how last week I had a no good, pretty bad day. I won't call it a very bad day, but it was a pretty bad day. Alright, so when you're dental temping, you never really know what you're gonna walk into. It's a little like a box of chocolates, right? So some days you walk in and it's super easy, everybody's super helpful, and you know, you kind of know where things are automatically, and there's really no major glitches. Like, patients don't freak out because you're not their hygienist, and you know, for the most part, everything goes really smoothly. And then other times you walk in and within 10 minutes you're like, I am never coming back here. It's just not gonna happen. This place is horrible. So this actually wasn't either of those. So I have been at this office before, actually a few times, and I really enjoy this office. They're not too far away from me. It's about a 30-minute drive, so it's not great, but it's not horrible. They do start really early, but they also get off really early, so that's very nice. And with the Denver traffic, sometimes it's nicer to get in there super early. You're not having to fight that traffic quite as hard. It's still turning into California around here, so please don't move here. But overall, you know, you kind of want to hit those early morning hours. So I walk into this office, and this was actually day 2 in this office. I had been there the day before. Day before had gone perfectly smoothly. Again, I know everybody. I've worked there before. I don't know the patients, but yeah, I know where things are, and I know how the equipment works, and so it's fairly easy to just kind of walk in and be like, oh, I'm filling in for so and so. You know, don't worry about me. And the patients are like, okay, cool. So it goes well. But the night before. This particular morning, I had asked them what they wanted me to do with the computers. The one thing I couldn't remember was, you know, do they want me to turn them off at night, or did they want me to put it to sleep or just leave it? And the other hygienist told me, you know what, just put it in sleep mode and let it be. That's perfectly fine. So I went, okay, you know, and I'm always trying to be really helpful, and you know, I make sure everything's clean, I make sure everything's stocked, I you know, do what I can, and then I walk around the office to make sure everybody else is doing well as well. And I throw this thing into sleep. So it's a, you know, it's a PC, and I hit the little button and I go down to sleep, and I missed sleep, and I clicked on shutdown, and I was like, ah, shucks, you know, and I went, whatever, like, no big deal. We'll just start it again in the morning. Like, it's not a big deal. And I figured nobody would know because I will be in that room the next day. I will just start it, have them log me in like they always do, and no one will be the wiser, right? So go home, wake up the next morning super early, get back in there, and the lights aren't even on in the building. Like, I can see there's people in there, but nobody's really turned the lights on yet when I walked in. And I walk over to the cubicle I'm gonna be in all day, and before I switched the lights on, because I didn't actually know where the light switch was, I went to turn the computer on. So it's actually pretty dark in the room, and I went underneath the countertop there, and I was looking at, what do they call those? The power surge protector, the big, you know, backup battery box for these computers. And I knew that wasn't the tower. But at the same time, it wasn't turned on either. And I went, well, that's kind of weird, because here's your backup battery. You want this thing to be on. And everything in the room was plugged into it. So I was kind of going, well, this is bizarre. And I was like, well, I'll just, you know, maybe by shutting down the computer, I somehow shut that down too. So I hit that to turn that on, and then went to look for the tower, for the computer. And the battery thing turns on and starts going, I'm gonna drive my dog crazy, ready? And it was this horrible, great, like nail-biting, fingers on a chalkboard noise. And it's really high-pitched, and it's so loud. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm hitting the button, trying to get it to turn off, right? And the front office manager is like, what's going on back there? The hygienist next to me is coming over to check on me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I tried turning on the tower and I hit the wrong button. And we could not get this thing to turn off. We unplugged everything from it. We unplugged it from the wall. We messed with that thing for probably 10 minutes. I have a patient sitting out in the lobby now. And I can't seat him because it's like, and it's so loud and so obnoxious. And I'm just going, I am so sorry, you guys. I don't know what happened, but I am so sorry. I hit the wrong button. I'm so sorry. And they were just like, you know what, this stuff happens. You know, they were super cool about it, which was great. But I was just really embarrassed. So they ran to another cubicle that we weren't going to be using. And they grabbed the one from that room and they swapped him out. And they took this thing, still screeching, to the dentist's office, like way in the back of the building. And they're like, okay, you guys deal with this. You know, we've got patients to see. So I go back there like, I don't know, an hour and a half later, and the dentist is just like trying to kill this thing, and it's still beeping. And he's like, you know what, it apparently went bad. Nobody noticed, you know, no big deal, because I was apologizing again. And I'm so sorry, you know, so got everything turned on, got it logged in, sat the patient down, I'm working away, no big deal. I walk into sterile with my tray after the first patient is done, and they have the autoclave ripped to pieces in there, and there's only one. So we're going, I didn't want to say anything, but I'm going, is that supposed to look like that? Like the sides are off of it, and it's completely unloaded, and there's pieces all over the place. What's going on? So what's going on? And they're going, well, it's not working. We can't get it to cycle. So, you know, we went to turn it on this morning and it's not working. So the dentist is now talking to them and the office manager, and they're trying to figure out, you know, what's going on with that thing. So we called in somebody, and the hygienist that, again, works next to me, she goes, so just so everybody knows, and she's talking to the office manager, we're gonna have to cancel one of these patients at 10 a.m. because we've only got 5 cassettes left and we're not gonna make it. You know, we've got the 9 o'clock hour, and we've got 2 patients, and there's 3 of us for the 10 o'clock hour, so one of these patients is gonna have to go. And well, we've got somebody coming in, you know, and they'll repair it, or they'll bring us a loaner or something, you know, we'll be fine. So she decided not to cancel the patient. Thankfully, that worked out too. So it caused a lot of stress, but we did have a repair guy come in, and he got it fixed before 10 o'clock, and so we did have enough instruments to do our patients at 10. Yay! And we kept going. Next thing, office manager comes back and she goes, okay, so just so you know, I don't remember if it was my 11 o'clock or my noon patient, but the next hour or two, she goes, just so you know, she's in her 80s. We're just babying her along. Like, she has a ton of stuff going on. She's not willing to do any of it. She comes in regularly. We're just kind of monitoring, and then we're dealing with stuff as she gets pain. I hate that. I hate that so much. Like, why? You know, and so she's not, from what I understood talking to her, she wasn't super aware that she had massive cavities in her mouth, under her bridges. You know, she goes, well, I'm brushing twice a day and I'm flossing and I'm using a water floss. So she's doing kind of the right stuff. But at the same time, she has these huge cavities that of course are spreading to all her other teeth. And I'm going, whatever, you know. But she requires super hot water in the water bottle, which means I have now hot water, warm water, going through my lines. Now, thinking back to hygiene school, pretty sure that was a major no-no because it breeds bacteria in the water lines, right? Like, I'm not missing something here, right? I'm going, okay. So I throw an extra tab in the bottle because I'm going, well, maybe it'll kill something. And I sit her down and I'd put the hot on there. You know, they were checking to make sure I did it. So I put the hot water on there. And I didn't run it completely through the lines before she sat down. So the first time I hit her with water, and I tried to stick it on her tongue, you know, and then have them swish with it so it's not so cold anyway if they have sensitivity. But anyway, so she's like, is this warm? This doesn't feel warm. You know, like, 1 second. So I like lean over to the sink and, you know, let it run until the handle gets warm. And I'm like, okay, you know, so then she was happy. So she's done. I got to change out the water again because I don't want hot water in the lines all day. And the next patient's like, you know, where is this lady? I'm like, the bottle is this big. Like, it's just gonna take me a while. Give me just a minute. All right, so that one's over. Next, last patient, I think it was my last patient for the day. I'm working on his teeth. He's a super nice guy. This office requires you to wear the long white lab coats. I'm totally okay with that. It keeps my scrubs clean. The problem being they don't fit me very well because, I don't know, just because I'm weird shape. So I'm in there and I've got these like big baggy sleeves and I'm working here and it's one of those rear delivery, you know, so I'm reaching back here for instruments, right? Which, don't do that to yourself, it's quite painful. So I'm working on this guy and I reach over to grab, I think it was suction, and my sleeve catches on the 1112 Explorer. So if you're not a hygienist yet, the 1112 Explorer is the really long needle looking instrument that we use that's called kinky to explore underneath your gums. So this tells me, you know, if you have tartar underneath your gums where I can't visually see it. It does all kinds of cool stuff. So I snagged the 1112 and it flips off, hits him somewhere in the head. I see it just like, you know how they make that metallic noise. Maybe I'll find one and add it here. You know, and it hits him. I know it hits him, and then it ends up somewhere on the floor. Ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, I am so sorry. Are you okay? Where did it hit you? Where did it hit you? What just happened? You know, And, you know, that whole, well, you're not supposed to apologize. You know what? Accidents happen, and I'm hoping these people understand this. I'm looking at this guy's face. I got my loops on, you know, my lights. I'm looking for puncture wounds or like slices in his cheek, or is his, you know, he's got his safety glasses on, so his eyeballs are okay. But I'm like, what is this? How? Like, okay, I don't know. Anyway, so somehow I managed to snag it. He states he's fine. I didn't see anything on his face. The only thing that did show up was he had a little puncture wound on the inside of his lip on the left side that started to bleed as I was watching. And so I don't know if that was from me working and then jumping and snagging his lip on my way out, or if that was the Explorer that had flipped forward and somehow snagged his lip and then rolled in underneath the chair. I don't know, it happened so fast. And it's just one of those things where, you know, even after so many years of experience, like accidents happen, and he was super cool about it, and I was so thankful, and I just felt so bad. So that was kind of the end of my day. Did anything else happen? I don't think so. That was enough. Oh man. So you just, you know, you never know. And again, thankfully these people know me and they knew I wasn't, you know, but if I had been in there the first day, like that was my first day temping for them, they would have thought I was a total klutz and a just ditz. Like I couldn't, So they did invite me back for 3 days in November and December. So whew. Anyway, so that was kind of my no good, almost horrible day, but it wasn't good. Anyway, so I've got another video I'm working on, but I just wanted to get this one out here for you guys so you can get some content, because it's been a while. I recorded a video last week, realized I was inaccurate in some of my facts, and put it aside, deleted it. I'm starting over today, so I should get that out in the next day or two. Hopefully today even. We'll see how things go. Like and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. And I will talk to you again later. Keep flossing.